I realize that so many of the videos that I'm doing for you are just me looking down at you. And whereas that can produce a subconscious feeling on your part of inferiority, I don't mean for that to happen at all. And I don't even see it that way. So here we stand. I'm coming up from the bottom. And it reminds me of going scuba diving with Andy Hallsteinson. And when Bill Finstad, world-class diver, was our instructor. And we hadn't even gotten our degree yet, but we were able to go on these dive trips because he was supposedly with us. You know, he was with us. He was supposed to be with us, and there he was. And so by the time we even finished our class, we both graduated with advanced scuba diver certificates in NAUI. And I'm sure he's in the same boat, but I could take my master diver's exam right now. I've got enough dives, having just gone through class with him and then further diving afterwards. But we finished that class with enough dives to move right on and take our master diver's test and be a black van. Be sitting on a beach in the Cayman Islands, just drinking beer and taking people scuba diving. So, we were on a dive the one time. We did a lot of diving in the Channel Islands, down San Miguel area. What do they call it? There's the one that's Catalina. You hear about it, it's so famous, you know, Catalina. It's gorgeous, and it is, but I don't think we ever stepped foot on the island. I think I dreamed of it once. Old people, a lot of old people. Yeah, never stepped foot on the island, but there was one place called Glass, dive site called the Glass, something like that. It went down 200 feet, and Finstad told us, he said, you go down there and you come right back up. You don't have enough air in your tanks to take a 200-foot dive without having to stop. You know, you got to stop along the way. Different increments of time and space. You get someplace, you have to wait like 2 minutes. You got the dive computer telling you how much you need so you don't get bent. So you don't get the bends, the nitrogen that builds up in all your joints. And so yeah, we went down there, and we were at, like, I'm pretty sure from what I learned in my oceanography class with Dr. Reed, that we were at the continental shelf. We got down there, it was just a total desert down there. And if you know me enough by now, you know that the desert is my favorite place. And that's why Antarctica still holds a place in my heart. That's the last place, second to the last place I need to go. Antarctica, the biggest desert in the world, based on precipitation. Just to be able to stand out there and see the fucking sky just screaming above you. No precipitation means no cloud cover. You can look and you can see stars shooting. Just wait 30 seconds and you'll see a shooting star in Saudi Arabia, Iraq, just standing there like you're on a rock, hurling through space. Hurtling. You hurl something. Something gets hurled. And with a T. So we get down to that 200 feet down to the continental shelf. Andy and I, we did a lot of dives together, and he knows that I disappear, and I'm faster. I was faster than he was. Finstead said I had the perfect scuba diving body. I can't swim above water, but underneath, with air, I just cut the water. He says because of the chest, the aerodynamics of it, just go laying down. Look, you are nothing but water passing me. You barely even touch me, and I think nothing of you as I pass. And so we're down at 200 feet, and I see as the desert gradually goes down like it does at the continental shelf, I see a shadow over there. And there's nothing but a couple rocks in this shadow. And I said, I have got to see it. And I wasn't thinking straight. And I went swimming that direction. I devised my own way of scuba diving too. You move your hips with your feet. Just turn your hips. It makes you faster instead of fighting your muscles all the way. You just turn your hips. And it's good for your solar plexus and things probably. I don't know, lateral obliques. And you can just, not even though, and I took off. And just as I was going out for that shadow and almost lost forever in the depths, Andy was able to catch the tail end of my fin with his fingertips. And I was like, And I turned around and he's like, I said, oh yeah, if he wouldn't have caught me. Well, you wouldn't know much more about me than you do now. And so we started making our way up. And it was so deep and the pressure so harsh. Filling my buoyancy vest with air from my tanks, and it's just, it's not doing anything. I'm having to struggle the whole way up. I'm swimming from 200 feet up, down, with just strength, and it's a good thing I'm thin. And so it's not making any difference because the pressure's so tight. And then all of a sudden we reach a point and the pressure's not too much anymore. And we're just shooting to the surface. I was shooting first. I was like Rocket Man, that video that was done in that movie that was done about the rocket propelled guy with the Hindenburgs and everything, World War II time. I was like that, shooting right to the surface. And like in a dream I had once, where I think I found where we go when we dream. I came into a state of consciousness with nothing evoking it. And it was dark and it was warm and I was so at peace. I woke up that way and in this dark, dark place. And all of a sudden I felt myself rising and I was coming to the surface, and it's just like this with the light. And then I was coming to the surface, and as I got closer to the surface, the light was shining as it would through the surface of the water, the sun, which took a while because we were 200 feet down. I think 187 is what I last read, but I went deeper after that. And as you get closer, the lights start to show themselves, and then they come really fast. And that's just in the dream when it got like it was right in front of me, my eyes opened naturally, and the light didn't shock me because it was a gradual transition from the place we go when we're not even dreaming, when we're resting peacefully. And that's what it was like coming to the surface. And I was looking at my dive computers, I'm shooting up, I'm like, whoa, you don't want to come up too fast, you get bent. And I looked, and then it was like 12 feet from the surface. And I was like, and I was turned around, and I was kicking like hell and emptying my buoyancy vest, trying, because it had all that air in it. And I was just, and then I was able to push myself back down. But at that moment, when I was kicking, I felt something in my coccyx region, right there on the spine. I felt something blow up. I swear, it felt like it was the size of a grapefruit right there. and I was able to kick down through it and get back, and we went back down to 90 meters, but that was me getting bent. I was about to be crippled for life. Right there, something was about to fucking explode. And we went back to 90 feet, and we're sitting under there going and looking at each other, and we're sitting there, and our bubbles coming up, and we're all narked out. I had nitrogen narcosis, the rapture of the deep. It's pretty cool. And we're just going through this total experience, and there are these bubbles, and he's looking at me freaked out. We're both freaked out, but we're helping each other. And I realized, all these bubbles, I thought they were coming out of one of our vests. That's what we were looking at each other, like our tanks were leaking. And our tanks were leaking, we thought, and I grabbed him by the vest and I moved him aside out of it, and the bubbles came, so we're okay. And it's like, and so there we are. We sit at 90 feet, just sitting there for the time it takes. Then we move up to the next level because you go in gradients. You get to about 20 feet and you sit there for another few minutes, and we were far away from the boat. By the time we went through all that, I came up, I had no air whatsoever left anywhere. It was all out of my buoyancy vest, and I had my weights, and I was sinking trying to swim to the boat. And I come up just enough to blow some air into my buoyancy vest, and and we got up there, and we got on board. We didn't say anything to anybody. We walked around the side of the pilot house and went, we were just out of our minds. It was the most awesome experience. And like I said, there is nothing like coming close to dying and being able to talk about it. See you up there somewhere.